the last class, we have discussed about our first biomolecule, that is carbohydrate, and we have seen its classification and the structure of two most important carbohydrate, that is glucose and fructose. Now we move on to next biomolecule, that is proteins. Proteins. We know that proteins are the most abundant biomolecules of the life, and these proteins form the fundamental basis of our structure and functions of human body or any other living system. So proteins are very important biomolecules, and so it is very important to include proteins in our daily life. So the main sources of proteins are cheese, milk, meat, fish, pulses, etc. So proteins are one of the most important biomolecule, and actually this protein is a polymer, and the proteins are formed by combining or polymerization of amino acids. So the monomer of protein is amino acid. This protein is formed by combining large number of amino acid unit. So before moving to the structure and functions of protein, we have to understand what is an amino acid. Amino acid is the monomer units of protein. So a large number of amino acids undergo polymerization reaction, and it forms the polymer protein. So amino acid is the monomer and protein is the polymer. Okay, so the monomer of protein is amino acid. So what is an amino acid? Amino acid. From the name itself, we get the information about the functional group present in amino acid. Amino acids. We know various functional groups that present in organic chemistry, like alcohol, carboxylic acid, aldehyde, ketone, amino groups, etc. So this amino represent amino functional group, amine functional group, which is the functional group is NH2. This is amine functional group. And acid means carboxylic acid group, that is COH, carboxylic acid group. So these are the two functional groups present in an amino acid. So consider a molecule CH3, CH2, CH2, COH. It contains 4 carbons with a carboxylic acid functional group. So this is butanoic acid. Suppose one of the hydrogen in this carbon is replaced by an amino group or amine group, it becomes an amino acid. And other possibility, we can replace this hydrogen present in this third carbon with the amino group, and we get another amino acid, and we can also replace the hydrogen in this last carbon, so we get all these 3 compounds are amino acid, both contain this COH functional group and NH2 functional group. So these are amino acids. Amino acids are compounds which contain amine as well as carboxylic acid functional group. So all these are amino acids functional group. And here the first one, this first one is called an alpha amino acid. Because here this amino group is present at this alpha carbon. And what is this alpha carbon? Alpha position means the carbon which is directly bonded to the highest priority functional group. Here we have 2 functional group, amine and COH, in which the priority goes to this carboxylic acid group. So this is the most priority functional group here. So the carbon which is directly attached to that functional group is called alpha carbon. That is the alpha position. And the carbon which is next to this alpha is called beta, and the last one is gamma, then delta, and so on. So functional group like direct attached carbon and alpha carbon, that position is called alpha position. Next beta, and then gamma, delta, and so on. So here this amino group is present at this alpha carbon. That is why it is called alpha amino acid. Here we can see that this is the alpha carbon, which is directly bonded to this functional group, and this is beta position, and this is gamma. Here the amino group is present at this beta carbon. Amino group is present at this beta carbon, therefore it is called beta amino acid. Here this is the alpha position, this is beta, and this is gamma. Here the NH2 group or amine group is present at this gamma carbon, therefore it is called gamma amino acid. So these are the different types of amino acid which differ in the position of amino group with respect to this carboxylic acid group. The amino group is present at the alpha carbon, it is called alpha amino acid. If this amino group is present at beta, it is called beta amino acid, and the amino group present at gamma is called gamma amino acid. So actually in proteins, the monomers are alpha amino acids. So in protein, alpha amino acids are the monomers. So we have to study these alpha amino acids in details. This alpha amino acid is the monomer units in protein, alpha amino acid. In alpha amino acid, we can see that this is a fundamental unit which contain an NH2 group that attached to a carbon which contain a hydrogen, and that carbon again attached to this carboxylic acid group, and then the fourth valency of this carbon is satisfied by this ethyl, this alkyl group. So here this NH2 and COH both are attached to the same carbon, that is why it is called an alpha amino acid, and the third valency is satisfied by a hydrogen, then fourth valency is satisfied by this ethyl group. That this side chain may be different because here it is ethyl group, that may be propyl, butyl, any other alkyl group can be considered as a side chain. Alkyl group തന്നെ ആവണമെന്നില്ല, വേറെ ഏതെങ്കിലും റിംഗ് സ്ട്രക്ചർ ആണെങ്കിലും വേറെ ഫങ്ഷണൽ ഗ്രൂപ്പ്സ് വരുന്ന ഗ്രൂപ്പ്സ് ആണെങ്കിലും എന്താണെങ്കിലും ഈ സൈഡ് ചെയിൻ ഡിഫറെന്റ് ആവും. So different amino acids are formed by changing this side chain. So ഈ side chain മാറുന്ന അനുസരിച്ച് അത് different amino acids ആയിട്ട് മാറും. So this is the basic structure of an amino acid. So ഇത്രയും പോർഷൻസിന് ഡിഫറൻസ് ഇല്ല. This is the fundamental structure, and here there is a side chain. ആ side chain different ആവുന്ന അനുസരിച്ച് different amino acids ആയിട്ട് മാറും. Let's consider one example. Glycine. This glycine is an amino acid, and usually an amino acid can be represented by either a 3-letter code or a 1-letter code. Here the 3-letter code is the first 3 letters, that is GLY. This is the 3-letter symbol for this amino acid glycine. Its 1-letter symbol is G. Okay, so this is an amino acid glycine, GLY or G. These are the two representations of this amino acid glycine. In glycine, this side chain is a hydrogen. In glycine, this side chain is a hydrogen. Therefore, its structure will be NH2, CH, COH. Then this R or this side chain or another hydrogen. So its structure will be NH2, CH2, COH. So this is glycine. Another amino acid, that is alanine. Its 3-symbol representation will be ALA, and one letter representation, 3-letter representation ALA, 1-letter representation A. And in alanine, the side chain is a methyl group. So we can replace this R by a methyl group. Then its structure will be NH2CH-COH, that is common for all amino acids. And in alanine, this side chain is a CH3 group. So this is the structure of alanine. Our next topic is the classification of amino acids. First of all, amino acids are classified on the basis of its availability. So on the basis of that factor, amino acids are classified into two. First one, non-essential amino acid. The second, essential amino acids. You know that amino acids are very important biomolecules because they are the monomers or the basic units of proteins. So all the amino acids are essential, but on the basis of its availability, amino acids are classified into two: non-essential and essential. Non-essential amino acid means the amino acids which can be synthesized in the human body, which can be synthesized in the human body, synthesized in the human body. So such amino acids are called non-essential amino acids. Example, glycine, alanine, etc. So these type of amino acids can be synthesized in the human body. And the next category is essential amino acids. Essential amino acid means biologically important amino acids which cannot be synthesized by human body. Which cannot be synthesized by human body. So that must be supplied through diet. So such amino acids are called essential amino acid. Cannot be synthesized by in the body. So such amino acids must be supplied through diet. And the examples are lysine, valine, etc. So these are the first two classification of amino acid: non-essential and essential. Non-essential means the amino acids which can be synthesized in the body. Example, glycine, alanine, etc. Essential means the amino acids which cannot be synthesized in the body, so they must be supplied through diet. So the examples are lysine, valine, etc. Almost 20 amino acids were discovered till now, out of which the almost 10 are non-essential and the other 10 are essential amino acids. So that essential amino acids must be included in our diet. In your textbook, a table is given with 20 different amino acids, in which the starred ones are the essential amino acid. Here we can see that this valine is an essential amino acid. Again, leucine is an essential amino acid. So you must remember the examples for essential and non-essential amino acids. We have one more classification of amino acid, that based on the relative number of amine group and carboxylic acid group. Based on that factor, amino acids are classified into three types. First one, neutral amino acid. Second, acidic amino acid. And the third one, basic amino acid. So, based on the number of amine group and carboxylic acid group, amino acids are classified into neutral, acidic and basic. Neutral amino acid means the amino acid which contains equal number of carboxylic acid group and amine group. We know that carboxylic acid is acidic in nature and amine is basic in nature. So, in a neutral amino acid contain equal number of amine group and carboxylic acid group. For example, glycine. In glycine, the side chain is a hydrogen, therefore its structure will be NH2, CH2, COH. Here there are equal number of carboxylic acid group and amine group. Only one carboxylic acid group and one amine group. So equal number of amine group and carboxylic acid group corresponds to neutral amino acid. Another example, alanine, in which the side chain is a CH3 group, methyl group, and here the structure will be here also there is equal number of amine group and carboxylic acid group. So this is also an example for a neutral amino acid. Then acidic amino acid means the amino acid which contain more number of carboxylic acid group than the amine group. So it's contain more COOH group, more number of COOH group. Such amino acids are called acidic amino acid. Example, aspartic acid. Aspartic acid. Aspartic acid is an example for an amino acid in which the side chain is CH2COH. This is a side chain. So its structure will be NH2CH-COH. It is a side chain CH2COH. Here we can see that there are two carboxylic acid group and only one amine group. Therefore, it contains more number of carboxylic acid group, so it comes under the category acidic amino acid. Last one, basic amino acid means the amino acid which contains more number of amine group, more number of basic amine group than the carboxylic acid group. So in basic amino acid, more number of NH2 groups. And its example is lysine. Lysine. In lysine, the side chain is CH2 4 times NH2. In lysine, the side chain is CH2 4 times NH2. Then its structure will be NH2 CH COH with the side chain CH2 4 times NH2. In its structure, we can see that there is only one carboxylic acid group and there are two NH2 groups. Therefore, it contains more amine group. Therefore, it comes under the category basic amino acid. So, this is the classification of amino acid on the basis of relative number of amine and carboxylic acid group. Our next topic is the properties of amino acid. Here we have to study five main properties of amino acid. First one, its color, then solubility, optical rotation, DL configuration, and finally Switzer ion. This Switzer ion formation is an important property of amino acid. Okay. So first, color. Actually, these amino acids are colorless. Amino acids are colorless substances. Then solubility. Most of the amino acids, almost all the amino acids are water soluble. They are water soluble. Water soluble. Our third property is optical activity of amino acid. We know that a compound is said to be optically active if it is able to rotate plane polarized light towards right or towards left. And the most important condition for a compound to be optically active is the presence of asymmetric carbon. And we have seen asymmetric carbon in the structure of glucose. Asymmetric carbon means the carbon which is attached to four different groups. So, if there is any asymmetric carbon in a compound, that compound may be optically active. So, now let's check whether this amino acid contain any asymmetric carbon or they are optically active. For that, let's take some examples. If we take alanine as an example, alanine, we know that in its the side chain is the methyl group. Therefore, its structure will be NH2 CH COH CH. This is the structure of alanine. Here we can see that this carbon is an asymmetric carbon because the four groups attached to this carbon are different. Therefore, this carbon is an asymmetric carbon. This alanine amino acid contain an asymmetric carbon. So, this compound is optically active. Optically active. Consider one more example. Say lysine. Lysine, we know that the side chain is CH2 4 times NH2. So, its structure will be NH2 CH COOH CH2 4 times NH2. In this case also, this central carbon, is asymmetric because the four groups attached to this carbon are different. So here also this lysine also optically active. So most of the amino acids are optically active as they contain asymmetric carbon. And there is an exception. That exceptional case is glycine. Glycine. In glycine, we know that the side chain is a hydrogen. Therefore, its structure will be NH2 CH COH H. Here we can see that all the four groups are not different. Here this carbon attached to two similar hydrogen atoms. Therefore, this carbon is not an asymmetric carbon. This carbon is not an asymmetric carbon. Therefore, glycine is optically inactive. Optically inactive. All other amino acids contain asymmetric carbon atom and they are optically active. But this glycine with two similar hydrogen atom contains no asymmetric carbon. Therefore, it is optically inactive. Our fourth property, DL configuration. We have discussed about DL configuration in the structure of glucose. There we have seen that if the OH group at the fifth carbon points towards right, it is called D. If it is pointing towards left, it is called L. Similarly, in amino acid, the position or the spatial arrangement of amine group determines the D and L configuration. For example, if we consider alanine, its structure is NH2 CH COOH CH3. Here, in this alanine amino acid molecule, this NH2 group points towards left. Therefore, this structure can be considered as L configuration. L configuration. If this amino acid points towards right, like in this structure, this is also alanine. Here this amino acid points towards right, then it is D. So the position of amino acid determines whether it is D or L. If the position of amine group determines the D and L configuration. If the amine group points towards left, it is called L configuration. Amine group points towards right, it is called D configuration. Most of the amino acid belongs to L series. So in most of the cases, this amine group present in the left side of that molecule. The last and the most important property of amino acid is the Swifter ion formation. Let's consider an amino acid and this is the carboxylic acid group, which is acidic in nature, and this NH2 group, amine group, which is basic in nature. According to Bronsted-Lowry concept, acids are proton donors. Acids are proton donors and bases are proton acceptors. So according to Bronsted-Lowry concept, acids are proton donors and bases are proton acceptor. Here this carboxylic acid is acidic in nature, therefore it can act as a proton donor. So it gives this hydrogen as H+. Here this OH bond breaks and bonded electron shift to this oxygen and it become negative and this H become H+ positive. So this carboxylic acid group remove this hydrogen as a proton by accepting the bonded electrons. So this carboxylic acid acts as an acid by donating protons. Here this NH2 group is basic in nature, so it can act as a proton acceptor. So this NH2 group accept this proton. Okay. Accepting this proton means make a bond with this proton. Actually in hydrogen there is only one electron and it become H+ ion by losing that only one electron. So in a H+ ion or in a proton there is no electron. And the bond is formed when there is two electrons. So ഒരു രണ്ട് ഇലക്ട്രോൺസിനെ ഷെയർ ചെയ്യുമ്പോഴാണ് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഒരു രണ്ട് ആറ്റത്തിനിടയ്ക്ക് രണ്ട് ഇലക്ട്രോൺസ് ഉള്ളപ്പോഴാണ് അവിടെ ഒരു ബോണ്ട് ഫോം ചെയ്യുന്നത്. The bond is a pair of electrons. So this H+ ion can make bond with this nitrogen when there is only two electrons in between this nitrogen and this proton. But in proton there is no electrons. Therefore, this nitrogen contain lone pairs of electrons and this nitrogen gives this lone pairs of electrons to make bond with this H+ ion. So this nitrogen gives this bond pairs of electrons to make bond with this H+ ion. So this H+ get an electron from this nitrogen, so its positive charge get neutralized and this nitrogen get a positive charge because it loses it lone pairs of electrons. Now it become NH3+. Now that amino acid become NH3+ CHrCOO-. This is a Swifter ion. See, opposite charges exist in the same molecule. ഈ ഒരു amino acid molecule തന്നെ ഇതിന്റെ രണ്ട് എൻഡ്സിൽ രണ്ട് opposite charges exist ചെയ്യുന്നു, form ചെയ്യുന്നു. So that is a Swifter ion. So amino acid can exist as a Swifter ion. Now we know that amino acid exists as Swifter ions with both positive and negative charges. So if we place such an amino acid in an acidic medium, acidic medium means pH less than 7. If we place amino acid in an acidic medium, this amino acid behave like a positively charged ion. So an independent amino acid contain both positive and negative charge. If we place that amino acid in an acidic medium, it become purely positive. See, this is the sweeter ion of the amino acid. And if we place such an amino acid in an acidic medium means the medium which contain H plus ion. Acids are proton donors. So acidic medium contain lots of protons or H plus ions. So this H plus ion get attached to this COO minus. Opposite charges always attract. So this positive H plus ion get attached to this COO minus. Now that becomes COOH. So this COO minus get neutralized by accepting a proton. That becomes COH. Now the charge of this ion is positive. So that is why in an acidic medium amino acid acts as a positively charged ion. And here what happens if the amino acid is placed in a basic medium? Basic medium means pH more than 7. In a basic medium, amino acid acts as a negatively charged ion. Negatively charged ion. Here again, a sweeter ion is NH3 plus nitrogen with 3 hydrogen with a positive charge, then CHR COO minus. And basic medium means bases are OH, hydroxyl, OH minus ion donors. So basic medium means the medium which contain OH minus ion. Here, one of the proton, the hydrogen removed from this NH3 plus group as a proton by giving electrons to this nitrogen. Then this hydrogen removed as proton by accepting this bonded electron, this positive charge of nitrogen get neutralized and that become NH2. Then this OH minus ion get bonded this H plus ion and that become water. Now here the final ion will be COO minus. So here in a basic medium, this OH minus ion remove proton from NH3 plus and that part become NH2, neutral NH2, and the only charge is the COO minus charge. That is why in basic medium amino acid acts as a negatively charged ion. So in an acidic medium amino acid become positively charged. In a basic medium amino acid become negative charge. So under the influence of an electric field, in an acidic medium amino acid move to cathode. Cathode are negatively charged electrode. So here in an acidic medium the amino acid have positive charge, so it moves to cathode. In a basic medium the charge of amino acid is negative, so it's moved to anode, which is positively charged electron. So under the influence of an electric field, amino acid in acidic medium moves to cathode and amino acid in basic medium moves to anode. The pH at which the amino acid move neither to cathode nor to anode is called isoelectric point. Isoelectric point. The pH at which amino acids move neither to the cathode nor to anode. If the pH less than 7, it moves to cathode. If pH greater than 7, it moves to anode. So at isoelectric point, that is a pH between 5.5 to 6 point something, 6.5. So this is the pH range of an isoelectric point. At this pH range, amino acid exists as sweeter ions, which is neither positive nor negative.